The wind screamed across the frozen ground. Snowflakes danced in the air like sharp little knives. Everything was white, cold, and silent. 5 small figures huddled under the remains of a broken ship. They were not human. Their skin was blue. Their eyes were large and dark. They were children, alien children, alone, cold, afraid. Their ship had crashed 2 nights ago. Their parents were gone. No one came. No one knew. They wore torn clothes. Thin cloth could not stop the cold. One child, the smallest, shivered hard. His lips had turned purple. His name was Kairu. He had not spoken all day. The oldest girl, Selly, wrapped her arms around him. She whispered, "Stay awake, Kairu, stay alive," but she knew. The cold was winning, suddenly. A sound in the sky, a hum, low and deep. The children looked up. Something was coming. A ship. It flew low, like it was searching. Then it stopped above them. Lights blinked on. The wind from its engines pushed the snow away. The children stood, scared but curious. They had no energy to run. With a hiss, the ship landed. A door opened slowly. Mist poured out. And from it a tall figure walked down. He was human, old, wrinkled face. Long coat, a tired look in his eyes. He saw them, small, thin, shaking. He didn't speak at first. Then he did something strange. He took off his coat. He knelt beside Kairu, the weakest one, and gently, carefully, he placed the coat around Kairu's small body. The children stared. No one had ever done something like that. He looked at the others. His voice was calm, not loud, not angry, just kind. He said, "Come with me." Sally stood in front of the others. "Who are you?" she asked. Her voice was weak but brave. The man replied, "My name is Jonas. I'm human. I won't hurt you." He looked at the crashed ship behind them. "You've lost everything, haven't you?" Sally didn't answer. She just nodded. Jonas sighed. "You'll die here if you stay." He opened his hand. "No cages. No tricks. Just help, please. Come with me." The children looked at each other. Fear, hope, doubt. Could they trust him? But Kairu, now wrapped in the warm coat, whispered, "Warm. It's warm." That was enough. One by one they followed Jonas into the ship. Inside, it was warm. Soft lights. Clean air. The door closed behind them with a soft hiss. Sally kept looking back, unsure, but Jonas said nothing. He guided them to a round room with beds. Real beds, blankets, food appeared on a small table, soft bread, warm soup. The smell made their stomachs growl. Kairu smiled for the first time in days. The others began to eat slowly, unsure at first, then faster. Jonas sat in a chair nearby. He didn't eat. He just watched them. Sally asked, "Why are you helping us?" He was quiet for a moment. Then he said, "Because someone helped me once, a long time ago." He stood and walked to the door. "Rest now, you're safe here." But as he left, his eyes showed something, pain, and something else, a memory long buried. In the darkness of space, his ship floated silently. Safe, for now, but questions remained. Who was Jonas really? Why did he come to this dead, frozen world? And how did he find them? The children didn't know it yet, but this was only the beginning. Something bigger was coming. Something hidden in Jonas's past. Something that would change everything. For now, though, they slept, warm, alive, together. The children woke slowly. Soft light glowed on the ceiling above them. The room was quiet. Warm, safe. No wind. No cold, no snow. Kairu opened his eyes first. He blinked. The blanket on him was thick and soft. He touched it like it was magic. Sally sat up on her bed across the room. She looked around. No danger, no noise. Only silence. Jonas sat in a chair. Nearby, he hadn't slept. He looked tired. But when he saw Kairu awake, he smiled. Just a little. "Good morning," he said gently. Sally didn't smile. "Where are we?" she asked. Jonas stood slowly. "You're safe." "On my ship. This is the medroom." He walked to a panel on the wall. With a soft beep, a door opened. "Come," he said. "I want to show you something." The children looked at each other. Kairu stood first. The others followed. They walked down a clean hallway. Lights hummed above. Doors lined the walls, all closed. Finally, Jonas stopped. He placed his hand on a scanner. The door slid open. Inside, a large room with windows, wide, clear, and open to space. Stars burned outside. Planets moved slowly in the distance. It was beautiful. And endless. This is the viewing deck, Jonas said. I come here when I feel alone. The children stepped inside slowly. They had never seen space like this, from this view. It felt alive, Sully asked again. Why are you helping us? Jonas didn't answer right away. He looked out at the stars. Then he spoke. I lost someone, long ago, a child. He turned to them. She was sick. We tried everything, but it was too late. The room grew silent again. I couldn't save her, he said, but I promised. I would try to save others. The children didn't know what to say. His words felt heavy, like he carried a weight inside him. I've rescued others before, Jonas said. Alien children, survivors like you, orphans. Sully asked quietly, where are they now? Jonas looked away. Some didn't make it. He took a breath, but some did. They're out there living new lives. Sully looked at the stars, so many worlds, so many lives. Jonas knelt down. You don't have to trust me right now. I understand. He reached into his coat and pulled out a small round object. It glowed softly in his palm. This is a location marker. If you ever want to leave, press this. He placed it in Sally's hand. I'll take you wherever you want to go. He stood. I don't keep prisoners, only guests. He walked toward the door, then paused. There's food in the next room. Eat when you're ready. And he left. Later that day, the children explored the ship. It was large, rooms filled with supplies, tools, and strange machines. One room had books. Another had musical instruments. From many worlds, they found a table full of food, bread, fruit, warm broth, simple but good. Jonas didn't follow them. He gave them space. That night, Kairu stood at the window again. He looked at the stars, his hands pressed against the glass. Sally walked up beside him. She whispered, he's different. Not like the others we've met. Kairu nodded. He gave me his coat. That was the first warm thing I felt. Sally held the marker tight in her hand. She didn't press it. Not yet, but far away in deep space. Something else had noticed them. Signal. A trace of the human ship. Black eyes watched a screen. Sharp fingers tapped buttons. The voice was cold. Survivors detected. The order was given. Track the human. Bring them all. Back on the ship, Jonas sat alone. He watched an old screen, a video. A little girl laughed in a sunny field. Human, brown hair. Big smile, his daughter. He closed his eyes. I couldn't save you, he whispered, but I'll keep my promise. He tapped a button. A new log opened. File created. Alien children. Rescue 12 status. ALIV. He looked toward the hallway where the children slept. And for the first time in many years, he allowed himself to hope. Jonas stood at the controls of his ship. The children were sleeping. He didn't sleep anymore. Not really. Ahead, through the window, a dark shape appeared in space. A large metal ring, broken and silent, floating near a dead moon, a forgotten station. Jonas whispered to himself, let's hope she still works. He pressed a few buttons. The ship slowly moved closer. Lights flickered on the side of the ring. Old systems trying to wake up. Hours later, the children stood beside him at the viewing window. They stared at the station. What is that place? Sally asked. Jonas replied, a sanctuary. I built it long ago with others. A safe place for survivors. Kairu looked nervous. Is anyone else there? Jonas shook his head. No, not anymore. He looked away. Not for years. The ship docked with a soft thud. Jonas walked toward the airlock. Come on, let's see if the lights still work. The door opened with a hiss. Darkness. Cold. Air. Dust floating like ghosts. The children followed Jonas down a wide hallway. Their small footsteps echoed. He spoke as they walked. This station was built after the First War. It housed rescued children from many planets. Kairu asked, what happened to them? Jonas didn't answer. They reached a control room. Jonas tapped on an old screen. Static, then light. Systems came online. Power flowed through the walls. Lights buzzed. A hologram appeared in the center of the room. A map of the station. Living quarters. Medical bay. Learning rooms. Garden pods. This will be your new home, Jonas said quietly. Until you decide what's next. Later, the children explored the station. Rooms were quiet. Beds made, untouched. Drawings still hung on the walls, drawn by other children. Long gone, one room had small chairs and toys. Dust covered everything. Kairu picked up a cracked ball. He tossed it gently. It bounced once, then stopped. Do you think they were happy here? He asked. Sully didn't answer. Her eyes were on a name written on the wall. It was in a language she didn't know. But beside it was a handprint, small like hers that night. They sat around a table in the main room. Jonas brought out packets of food. It wasn't fancy, but it was warm. Sully finally asked the question that had been on her mind all day. Why did you stop bringing others here? Jonas looked tired. He leaned back in his chair. There was a mistake. Kairu blinked. What kind of mistake? Jonas stared at the table. Years ago, I rescued another group. 4 children from a war planet. They were strong, angry, broken. He paused. One of them tried to take control of the station. He believed I was hiding something. Sully leaned forward. Were you? Jonas didn't move. Yes, I was hiding pain, guilt. I didn't tell them about my daughter. About how I failed her. Silence filled the room again. Jonas looked at the children. I won't lie to you. This place carries memory. Some of it painful. He stood. But it also carries hope. And I want to rebuild it, with your help. Later, while others slept, Sully wandered alone. She walked into a room with old screens and blinking lights. A large console stood in the center. She pressed a button. A screen lit up. Security logs. Video files. She played one. The image showed Jonas, younger, standing in the same room. Behind him, 4 alien children. One shouted. Another threw something. Jonas spoke calmly in the recording. You're safe here. Please stop. But they did in single quotes. One child ran at Jonas. The video cut. Sully sat back. Her heart beat fast. In another part of the station, Kairu found something strange. A locked door, metal, thick, cold. He pressed the panel beside it. Red light. Access denied, but for a second he heard something, a whisper. A sound like breathing. Or something more. He stepped back. His skin turned cold. In the morning, Sully didn't say anything about the video. Kairu didn't say anything about the door, but both felt the same thing. This station had secrets, old ones. And they were waking up. Jonas entered the room with a toolkit. Today, he said with a smile, we fixed the garden pods. You'll like the smell of real plants again. The children nodded. But deep inside, they wondered, who else had walked these halls, and would they come back? Asterisk, the lights in the station flickered again. It was the 3rd time today. Jonas stood in the control room, tapping the screen. Power lines are getting weak, he muttered. I'll have to fix them soon. In the hallway, Sully walked alone. She carried a small notebook she found in one of the older rooms. Inside were old drawings, names, and something else. A map of the station. One area was circled in red. No label, just a number. Room 9. Ash remembered Kairu's words. There's a door I couldn't open. It was cold. And it made a sound. That room was in the same spot. That evening, while Jonas worked in the hydro room, Sully took Kairu and one other child, Luna, to find the door again. The hallway was darker here, colder. They found it. The same locked door, thick and metal. Sully placed her hand on the side panel. Red light. Access denied, Luna whispered. We shouldn't be here, Sully answered. We just look, we don't go in. She took out the notebook. Inside was an old code, 7391. She typed it. The red light blinked, then turned green. The door slid open slowly. Air hissed out. A smell followed, dry, metallic, old. Inside, they saw beds. Empty. Machines stood beside each bed, covered in dust, tubes, wires, screens. Sully stepped inside. She looked at the machines. One still blinked, low power. She pressed a button. A recording started playing. A voice filled the room. It was Jonas, younger, test log 47. The subject is stable. No pain, faster healing observed. Skin temperature now normal. The children froze. Another voice came in the background, a child's voice. Please, I don't want to sleep again. The recording stopped. Kairu's eyes went wide. Jonas. Did experiments? Luno pointed to the wall. There were names scratched into the metal. 4 names. All crossed out, Sally whispered. These were the others. The ones before us. They backed out of the room. No one spoke. They locked the door again. That night, Sally didn't sleep. She stared at the ceiling. Memories rushed in. The video from before, the names on the wall. The voice begging, was Jonas saving lives, or was he trying to control them? Next morning, she sat across from Jonas at the table. He poured warm water into cups. You found the door, he said without looking up. Sally froze. He knew, yes, she said slowly. We heard a voice. In a recording, Jonas nodded. He didn't get angry. He just sat still. That room was meant to help, he said. But help can look like harm when trust is broken. He looked up at her. I tried to heal children who were sick, who had wounds from war, their bodies healed. But their minds didn't? Sally asked. Did they die? Jonas looked away. 3 did. 1 ran away into space. I never found him. He paused. I promised myself I'd never use that room again. Sally's voice was soft. You lied to us. I didn't want to scare you, Jonas replied. I wanted you to feel safe first. You deserve that. Later, Kairu wandered near the room again. He heard something, a soft thud. Then another. He followed the sound to a small storage closet beside room 9. Inside, he found a figure, tall, thin, gray skin, not human. Not like them. It stood frozen, eyes wide. Kairu gasped. The figure spoke. A broken voice. Where is Jonas? Alarms beeped across the station. Doors sealed. Red lights flashed. Jonas ran to the control room. He saw the camera feed. He stopped breathing for a moment. No, it can't be. The screen showed the same child he lost years ago, the one who ran. Now older, twisted, changed. Jonas whispered, Tyrion. In the dark hallway, the alien boy, Tyrion, stepped forward. He looked at Kairu. You don't know what Jonas really is, he said. He uses kindness like a mask. Then he tests your fear. Kairu took a step back. But he saved us, Tyrion laughed. He saved you to fix what he broke in me. Jonas arrived, eyes full of shock and guilt. Tyrion, he said, almost like a prayer. I'm sorry. Tyrion's voice was cold. Sorry won't bring back the others. He raised his hand. Energy pulsed around him. Sally ran in front of Kairu. Don't hurt him, she shouted. Tyrion stopped. His hand shook. Jonas whispered. You're not a weapon. You never were. Please, let me fix this the right way. The hallway went quiet. No one moved. Then Tyrion turned and disappeared into the shadows. Jonas sat alone later, head in his hands. I should have never opened that room, he said. But now, I have to face what I started. Sally stood nearby. We need the truth now, all of it. Jonas nodded slowly. You'll have it. Outside the station, a signal pulsed into space. Someone had been listening. And they were coming. The station was no longer silent. Ever since Tyrion returned, the air had changed. Jonas stood in the main control room, staring at the flickering screens. He hadn't slept in 2 days. His hands trembled, not from fear, but from the weight of memory. He had built this place for healing. Now it felt like a cage. Sally sat alone near the old learning pod. She stared at her reflection in the dark screen. Behind her, Kairu spoke softly. He didn't lie about everything. He saved us. Sally replied without turning, but he didn't. Tell us about Tyrion or the others. She looked down at her hands. If we didn't find that room, would he ever have told us? Kairu said nothing. He didn't know the answer. In the shadows of the storage level, Tyrion moved quietly. He remembered every hallway, every door. The station had changed. He had changed more. He stopped at a small room. Inside, a picture on the wall. A group of Children, he was in it, smiling. He tore it down. Later that evening, Jonas gathered the children in the main hall. The lights were low. The air was heavy. He didn't stand tall like before. He looked smaller, like a man who carried too many years. I owe you the full truth, he began. No more soft stories. No more silence. He stepped forward slowly. Tyrion was one of the first children I brought here, he said. He came from a planet torn by war. He was angry, alone. Jonas paused. I wanted to help him, but I was also trying to prove something. To myself, Kairu asked. Prove what? That I wasn't a failure, Jonas answered. I lost my daughter. She was sick. I couldn't save her. I thought, if I saved others, maybe it would fix me. Sully frowned. You used us to heal. Your pain? Jonas shook his head. I didn't mean to, but yes. Part of me was trying to replace what I lost. He pointed to the locked medical room. The tests I ran, I thought they were safe. But emotions can't be fixed with machines. Kairu whispered, what happened to the others? Jonas's voice broke. 3 of them died. Not from experiments, but from fear, confusion, mistrust. He looked at the floor. I wasn't strong enough to reach them, Sally stood. Why did Tyrion come back? I don't know, Jonas said. But I think he wants us to feel what he felt. Lost, abandoned, betrayed. Far from the others, Tyrion sat in the dark. He replayed old recordings on a stolen tablet, Jonas's voice. The promises. The failures. He still heard the screams of his old friends. Still remembered the cold silence after they were gone. He didn't come to kill. He came to ask, why wasn't I enough? That night, Sally followed Jonas to the garden pod. She watched him kneel and check the roots of a young plant. The soil was dry. The leaves curled from neglect. You care for these plants, she said, like you care for us. Jonas looked at her. I do, but care alone isn't enough. Not if it's mixed with lies. Sally stepped closer. Do you still believe you can fix this? Jonas gave a tired smile. I don't know, but I want to try. This time, with honesty. The next day, Tyrion came forward. He walked into the common room slowly. Children froze. Jonas stood still. Tyrion's voice was quiet. I don't want revenge. He looked at Jonas. I want you to admit you failed me. Say it, not in your head. Say it to my face. Jonas took a deep breath. I failed you, Tyrion. I was scared. I hid behind kindness. I let my guilt speak louder than your pain. Tyrion's jaw clenched. For a moment, everyone waited for him to explode, but instead he sat down. No machines. No treatments. Just talk. Sully blinked. Talk. Tyrion nodded. If we're going to live here, we talk. No more secrets. No more control. Over the next days, everything changed. The locked doors were opened. The old rooms were cleaned. The name wall was repainted, this time with both old and new names side by side. Jonas stopped leading. He started listening. Sally organized the daily tasks. Kairu helped fix the solar panels. Tyrion joined the medbay, learning how to truly heal. With no wires, no needles, only care. One night, Jonas stood at the viewing window again. Sally walked up beside him. Still feel like a failure? She asked. Jonas smiled slightly. Less than before. But I still have a long way to go. She looked at the stars. We all do. Behind them, laughter echoed through the station. It sounded like life. Asterisk. It began with a simple button. A green circle, blinking slowly in the corner of the control room. Unnoticed, forgotten. Until Kairu pressed it. The station was calm that morning. Jonas watered the garden pods. Sally was organizing old data logs. Tyrion and Luno were repairing the broken hallway lights. Kairu had wandered off again. He liked being alone sometimes. It made the station feel bigger, mysterious. He stepped into the control room and stared at the blinking button. Above it, a faded label, Beacon Emergency Transmission. He tilted his head. Rescue signal? He whispered. He remembered what Jonas once said. If you ever want to leave, press this. He reached out slowly and tapped the button. Far away, deep in space, the signal burst like a whisper through the stars. It reached systems long forgotten, and someone or Something heard it. Hours passed. Kairu said nothing. He wasn't sure if the button still worked. Maybe the signal was too old, too weak? Then the station lights flickered, not from damage, but from connection. Something was reaching back. Jonas stared at the control screen. An alert blinked red. Incoming message unknown source. His hands froze. Sally stepped closer. Someone answered, didn't they? Jonas nodded slowly. Yes, and it's not from Earth, it's not from any human system. The message was audio only. A voice, calm, digital, alien. We received your distress call. This is the vessel, Cavern. You are not alone, we are coming, Tyrion frowned. They didn't ask who we are, they're just coming. Jonas stepped back from the console. That's not normal. Real rescue ships confirm identity first. He looked at Kairu. Who sent the signal? Kairu looked down. I did. I just wanted someone to know we're alive. Jonas sighed. You may have told the wrong someone. The station moved into defense mode. Shield panels slid over the windows. Auto turrets locked into place. Jonas moved like a man who had prepared for this moment long ago. Sally asked, Who? Do you think they are? Jonas didn't look up. Pirates. Slave fleets. Scavenger factions. There are many who answer signals just to steal life. Kairu whispered, But what if they're good? Jonas paused. Then we'll see, but we prepare for the worst. 20 hours later, the ship arrived. The vessel Cavern drifted toward the station, sleek, silent, painted black like space itself. No markings. No flag. The children watched through the defense screen. Tyrion whispered, I've seen ships like that before. They raided my colony. Jonas narrowed his eyes. We. Don't open the doors until we're sure. The voice returned. Life forms detected. Human signature confirmed. Allow docking or we will breach manually. Jonas tapped the mic. This is Jonas, captain of this station. Identify yourselves. A pause. Then the voice said, We are here to collect the child marked for retrieval. Designation subject Tyrion? Everyone froze. Tyrion's face went pale. I didn't tell anyone I was here. Jonas whispered, But someone tracked you. Through your DNA? Through the implants you never knew were inside you? Kairu looked at him. Are they coming to hurt you? Tyrion didn't speak. He already knew the answer. The children turned to Jonas. What do we do? Sally asked. Jonas looked at each of them. Then at Tyren. He made a decision. We don't run. We protect our own. They moved fast. Sally rerouted the airlock controls. Luno set traps near the docking tunnel. Tyrion powered down the medical room to block scans. Jonas armed the station's last defense, a pulse-burst cannon. One shot only, he said, but it's enough to cripple a ship. Kairu asked, What if they break through? Jonas placed a hand on his shoulder. Then we show them who we've become. Minutes later, the cavern began docking. Metal claws gripped the outer shell of the station. Sparks flew. The hull shook. Sally shouted from the monitor, They're trying to override the door! Jonas stood at the center control hub. Face calm. Eyes sharp. Wait, he muttered. Wait for it. Kairu clenched his fists. Luno hid behind a storage crate. Tyrion stood still. No longer afraid, the door opened. One figure stepped in, tall, armored, masked. Behind him, two more, no words. Just silence. And slow footsteps. Jonas raised the pulse cannon. This is your only warning, he said. Leave now, or be turned to dust. The figure stopped. Then it spoke. The boy belongs to us. Tyrion stepped forward. No, I don't belong to anyone. Not anymore. His voice was loud, clear, certain, a sudden pulse, loud and sharp. The cannon fired. Light filled the hallway. One invader fell. The others jumped back. Shut the door! Jonas yelled. The autolock slammed shut. Sirens echoed through the station, outside. The cavern slowly pulled back. Damaged, wounded, but not gone. A new message appeared. You made your choice. We'll return soon with more. Inside, silence returned. Smoke drifted through the air. Hearts pounded, but no one cried. No one ran. Jonas looked at them. All of you. You stood your ground. Sally spoke first. This station is our home. We protect it. Jonas nodded. And now, we prepare, because this isn't over. Outside, stars kept shining, but darkness was coming. The station was quiet again, but it wasn't peace. It was the calm before something big. Tyren stood at the viewing window. He stared into the stars, knowing what waited out there. They'll return, he said. Next time, they won't talk. They'll destroy everything. Jonas stood beside him. They'll try, but we're not the same anymore. Tyren shook his head. They're stronger than you think, and they won't stop until I'm gone or dead. Sally entered the room. She carried a folded piece of paper. It was the plan. A way out. In the common room, the children gathered. Everyone looked tired. Everyone looked ready. Jonas laid out 2 choices. 1, we stay, we fight, we risk everything. 2, we leave the station, take the escape shuttle, and hide. Kairu looked up. If we run, they'll chase us anyway. Luno added, but if we fight, they could kill us all. Sally unfolded the paper. I reprogrammed the shuttle. It can take us to an old mining belt. No one lives there. We'd be safe for a while. Tyren spoke last. This place is the only home I've ever had. I ran once. I won't run again. Jonas looked at him. You don't have to stay and fight just because I failed you before, Tyren replied. I'm not doing this for you. I'm doing this for me. That night, the station prepared for war. Sally sealed the lower levels. Luno installed signal jammers. Tyren set traps in the tunnels. Jonas reopened the old defense system. 4 drones, 1 MP blast, and a gate lockdown. It wasn't much, but it was all they had. Hours passed. Then it came, a shadow in space. Bigger than before, sleek, silent. The enemy had returned. The ship cavern was no longer alone. 2 more ships hovered behind it. Jonas stood in the control room, hands steady. This is it. Kairu held Sally's hand. Neither spoke. Tyren loaded the last energy cells. He looked calm, but his eyes burned with fire. The voice came again. Not calm this time, not polite. We warned you, now you pay? Jonas tapped the intercom. You'll find we've learned how to fight back. The attack began. Explosions rocked the station's outer shell. Lights flickered. Walls trembled. The enemy cut through the side panels. 3 docking claws attached. 1 door melted open, but Sally triggered the floor trap. The first invader fell. The second was caught in a shock net. Luno ran to the back panel. He slammed the MP switch. The lights went out, then back on. Enemy weapons were disabled for 30 seconds. Now, Jonas shouted. Tyren and Kairu charged forward. They used stun rods, pushing the invaders back into the tunnel. Then the main gate blew open. Too many. Jonas yelled. Fall back to the core room. They ran, smoke behind them. Footsteps chasing. They sealed the core room doors. Only 1 hallway left. Sally spoke quickly. I can overload the engine. Blow the station. Take them with us. Kairu gasped. We'll die too. Tyren looked at Jonas. Tell me there's another way. Jonas walked to the center console. There is, but someone has to stay behind to trigger it manually. Everyone went silent. I'll do it, Jonas said. This was my home before it was yours. Let me end it. Sully stepped forward. No, we all made this home. We all protect it. Tyren grabbed the console. No more running. I'll stay. Let them come. I'll stop them. Jonas shook his head. I already lost you once. I won't let it happen again. Then Kairu spoke. I started this. I sent the signal. Let me fix it. But Tyren knelt in front of him. No, you gave us hope. You brought the truth. You don't fix it by dying. Jonas closed his eyes. Then open them. There's a way to send the overload signal remotely. From the escape shuttle, Sully blinked. You said that system was broken. I fixed it, Jonas said. But I didn't tell anyone. I was afraid no one would choose to leave. In silence, they moved. The last few minutes were quick. Tyren and Jonas stayed behind in the core room. The children ran to the shuttle. Ki, are you stopped at the door? He turned to Tyren. You were our protector. You still are, Tyren nodded. You were my reason to stay. The shuttle launched. It moved fast. Away from the station. Away from the battle. Inside the core room, Jonas placed his hand on Tyron's shoulder. You deserved better than what I gave. But today, you saved more than I ever could, Tyron smiled. For the first time, it was real. You finally said, "It," Jonas laughed softly. Yeah, I guess I did. He tapped the screen, the core lit up, energy surged. The enemy burst through the last door, but it was too late. A white flash filled space. Then silence. From the shuttle, Sully watched the light vanish. The station was gone. But so was the enemy. Ki closed his eyes. A tear rolled down. Not for pain, but for pride. He didn't run, he whispered. He stood. They drifted into deep space, homeless again. But not lost, because this time they had each other.